Hey, welcome back to CIA, where we look at the data on different projects and do deep dive research, and then you can decide if it's a project for you. Today, we're looking at Pangolin, and the question is, can Pangolin outperform Aerodrome during this bull run? Had some nice market action today on that jobs report. So I think we're man, 1 to 3 weeks from the altcoin cycle, bull cycle. So alt season's coming up, baby. We'll see. So Pangolin, let's get into the summer projects. So Pangolin's a DEX on the Avalanche network, just like Velodrome and Aerodrome, similar projects that we've covered. It's on the Avalanche network and it's got three other networks. So a little bit of diversification there. The other three networks are smaller than Avalanche. And Avalanche is primarily a gaming platform or level one. So there's a lot of games built on it by developers. And gaming usually hits very spiky, right? So people get really excited about gaming and it kind of builds very quickly. They tend to be more late cycle. I would say gaming's less like utility and fundamentals driven because people get really excited about these games that are built. They all FOMO in and then they get they're like, oh, half these games don't work and the other half are crappy, so I'm going to exit totally. So it's very, very volatile, but that could be good for Penguin, right? So they've got a DEX and then bridge swap and some liquidity pools as well. PNG is the number two DEX on Avalanche, which isn't great, but it's up there. They do have those other chains, Hendra, Songbird, and Flare. I think maybe one more, but those are smaller chains as well, and don't expect too much of their value to get contributed by those, unless one of them blows up. But I don't anticipate that happening. And so currently, Pangolin is bringing in $100,000 a month. That's what about 1.2 million a year. The fees are bringing in about $500,000 a month. That's the average the last 2 months. I expect those numbers to grow as alt season starts to go into full swing. So they will be bringing in more revenue. Down below, I put a little revenue low and peak case in there and valuation here. I use these valuation numbers more as the bottom case in the projections, as you'll see later, just because I think there's a little more hype in marketing with Pangolin, and the low supply will help them definitely help them as well. Tokenomics, they got 230 million tokens, which is a low supply. There are not a lot of projects that have that low supply. So that's good for them. They have very small inflation. So originally they had 538 million tokens, but the DAO voted and just slashed those out. They burn them. So now there's only 230 million and 100,000 PNG per month of inflation, which is tiny. And that ends in November 2025. So all good news on the tokenomics there. Allocations are great too. Most of them were given to launch allocations is a percentage that were given out. Most of those were given to liquidity providers, and a little bit to treasury, and then some airdropped for people early on. There is a large wallet, but I believe that's all the burn tokens. And then there's obviously a treasury too. Should be this guy. Moving on to team. So the team is doxed. It is a new team. They've replaced a lot of the leaders, almost all of them. I believe was it 3 weeks ago in February? I think they're still hiring some as well. The community seems pretty good. I like their Twitter, Telegram. I'm not a fan of Telegram. Their Discord is defunct, but besides that, yeah, I think their community is pretty strong. And financial partners, I didn't see any. They claim partners on their website, but those aren't financial partners. So I couldn't find any other funding. Calisks and risks. So they do have a really low token supply. I think that's going to be what makes this token do really well really quickly. They have marketing, and then they're coming out with a new UI. The new team is redoing the user interface, and hopefully that improves the adoption of the DEX. Risks and downside, obviously, when you get a new team, it's risky. The new people do have good experience. Like their CEO has DEX experience. I think it was the CEO had DEX experience. One of the leadership teams has DEX experience, so that's good. And then they've got and it's an indirect gaming play. And the reason I put that as a downside is just the volatility, but it could be an upside. Like if you're good at timing to get out, then you could play that and do well on it. And also, it's not the leading DEX on the Avalanche network, so do have to keep that in mind. Chart looks really good. They've got, every time this thing kind of moves, it moves very strongly and didn't decay too much during the last kind of bear correction that we had. So that is good sign. Like I mentioned, comparable projects. We've got Uniswap. It's currently 5 billion. Uniswap itself could get up to 43 billion this cycle. I don't think it's going to do that, but that's like the upper limit. And I don't think, Velodrome, but maybe Airdrome can start to compete with Uniswap just because base is going to grow. So it could grow so quickly. Like if Coinbase starts marketing that their layer one could grow very quickly. Let's go to the predictions here. I've got speculative potential only at 71%. It's kind of lower than you might expect. But that's mostly due to the uncertainty around the team and their ability to kind of execute this thing, kick it off, and also being on the AVAX network. Like you're just not getting as much traction as you're going to get with like an Airdrome, right? So or being on another higher volume layer one network. So they do have a couple other chains they're on, which I think is going to help them a little bit, but that's not the main driver. So staying power is high. They've been around for years, and I think they'll continue to be around. And then reputation, they got a little knock for the new team. Don't really know how they've executed, and the model just looks at like, hey, this is the data, right? This is the history of this project, and if you don't have that, then it's going to knock off some points. So I understand how it scores, but obviously it scores like that for a reason. So, like I said before, it helps take a little bit of the emotion out of our decisions to invest, right? And our price predictions. Now, this is not financial advice, just a guide for what the numbers spit out here. It's obviously can't make a recommendation for you individually, but I think the low case is 500 million. I think we'll soar past that. But peak bull case, I'd say around 4 billion. And I think the token supply is going to help them reach that if they're able to get there. And as volumes pick up on Avalanche, and as volumes pick up in the debt, volumes will pick up in Pangolin as well, as far as TVL and transactions. So yeah, that's it for Pangolin. If you're still here, you probably got some value out of this. I'd appreciate subscribe, and you will get a notification the next time I review another project. So thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.